Welcome to Business is Personal. I am so excited to have Christoph Munz with me today. We're going to talk about digital marketing, but not just that. We're going to talk about why influencers are dangerous for brands. You've got to be careful. We're going to also talk about when companies should be outsourcing their digital marketing, and we're going to talk about the balance between privacy and transparency. Do you feel disconnected at work? Are you feeling exhausted? Almost like you hate your job and secretly, maybe your boss too? This is Business is Personal, a blueprint to discovering and creating meaning at work in collaboration with Smashi TV, a live streaming service in the Middle East for the driven, the dreamers, and the doers. Hi, welcome back. I am with Christoph Munz. Am I saying your name right?
Munz. But I know it looks like Munz.
And I know I'm going to mess up the name of your company. It's Lajos?
Larus.
Oh, no, this is like...
Need some training.
I used to be pretty good with languages. Like I speak a bit of Estonian and a bit of Arabic. And I think of myself as all right with my languages, but that is absolutely...
We will get there at the end
It's okay, so how do English as a first language, how do English native speakers say your company name?
Well, most of the time they pronounce it as Largus, like English people always
Largus.
Or Largus.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Sorry about that.
But it doesn't matter. The services we offer, that's more important. The quality of the services.
The value you're providing is much bigger than the challenge of saying your name.
Of course.
So that's good. So look, I know who you are, so I want to introduce you to them a little bit. Christoph is one of the gurus in digital corporate marketing. He has brands under his belt like Renault and BNP Paribas.
Yes,
you guys have been amazing at that. And I want you to talk today, I want to have this conversation about corporate digital marketing because it's something that the majority of my clients struggle with. Even if they have their own internal social media team, it's very difficult for them to figure out what the key points are in terms of strategy and to execute those well enough that it has a measurable ROI on the bottom line. So tell us a little bit more about your style and your structure of work.
Well, indeed, nice to be a guest in your show to start.
My pleasure.
Story. Thanks for having me. My name is Christoph, founder and CEO of Larus, a digital marketing agency based in Dubai. As you say, it's right. I'm based in Dubai for 2 years, but I worked before in Belgium with my business already for a long time. I have BNP Paribas, Renault. In Dubai, I have real estate, luxury real estate agencies as a client. And as you mentioned, the issue, the challenge for all those agencies, I think, and businesses and companies, I think everyone agrees it's beneficial to be on social media.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, no one, all those companies struggling with the way how to be on social media. You can have an amazing product, you can have an amazing idea, but yeah, how to sell it and how to sell it to the right audience, to your target audience. And in that way, me, myself, and also my company, my team, wants to add value. We are telling stories, and I know all these companies wants to tell also their story, and we are there to help them, to guide them, to tell their story in the right way, with the help of online marketing tools, online platforms, and me specifically, I focus on the social media, which has a lot of benefits, but you have to use it smart, strategious, and you have to be aware of the challenges because you can reach anyone in the world, but that means also that anyone is watching you. Everyone is watching.
I would separate the mechanics of social media from the art of storytelling.
Yes.
And I would say that they're two separate but interrelated sets of skills.
Yes.
Okay, so how important is it, do you think, for corporate entities to be able to tell the stories about their products and their services in addition to having the skills of the mechanics of social media marketing?
Well, that's why like 20-25% of the budget of a company should go to marketing. A lot of budget has to go to marketing.
But a lot of people would say 25%. Oh, you mean that marketing across the board? Or is that just social media?
Basically, most of the, across the board, but mostly social media will be part of the marketing. That's the biggest part, for sure. Because indeed, it's the company's task and they have an idea, they create a product. But then the skill has to be, and it's a skill on itself. That's why digital agencies are there. That's why experts are there to guide them to, they have the product that can be amazing, but if you don't have marketing, if you're not appealing on social media, you will not sell anything. And someone else, your competitor, who has the same product, but it's shit, will sell more because they're just more appealing on the social media.
Well, I read an interesting statistic yesterday that 17% of the world population checks one or more of the top 4 social media platforms every single day.
Yes.
That's unbelievable.
Worldwide, people on average are spending 2.5 hours per day on their social media.
I know I do.
Yeah.
Well, I'm also like a social media personality, and I know that for the majority of my executive coaching clients, they're getting their information, they're getting their training, rather than reading blogs now, they're following certain people in their industry, benchmarks that they've put themselves against, and they're finding information from them in order to improve their own best practices.
That's true, and that's why it's important to not only be on social media, because that's also a challenge. A lot of companies think like, be on social media, just posting some pictures. For example, real estate, as in Dubai, real estate is huge, and I have some clients here. Just post some off plans, just post some pictures, and it will do the trick. No, you have to think about what to post, when to post, which hashtags to use. All these things are very important, and something that companies are not aware of. It's not just 5 minutes posting the picture. It's a whole process. It's a whole strategy from A to Z. And you not only have to create that strategy, you also have to execute it all properly, and you have to afterwards maintain it, because you target people see all of that, you can reach the whole world, but people interact also with it, so you also have to maintain it. You have to see, what are people replying, what are people commenting, are they liking, are they mad, what happens if they're mad, why are they mad, I have to adjust the whole strategy, all these things,
I've found as a business strategist and restructuring expert that there are two tipping points in terms of MarTech, right? There's from the small business to the medium-sized business, there's a tipping point at which you want to internalize your MarTech, and you want to have your own internal social media, because it makes sense for you to hire your team and you can control them, and you're not huge, right? You're big enough to handle that salary base. And then there's another tipping point at which the medium enterprise becomes a large enterprise, and it actually becomes a lot more efficient to outsource that.
Yes, exactly.
So where would you say that tipping point is for medium enterprises becoming large to switch off their internal social media and then start outsourcing that? Where is that?
Well, I think,
efficiency?
and it's quite obviously that when small startups, they think, okay, we will do it internally. First of all, the CEO thinks I will do it myself. Then they grow and do it internally. But at the end, they see there are beneficials to outsource it indeed. And why you have to outsource your social media or marketing in general? Because of, first of all, those agencies like Largus are experts. They're experts in the field. Plus, they can compare also. If you hire your people, they are with your story, with your product. But they don't have insights from, first of all, your competitors, from other industries, which can be also beneficial for your industry. Because it's important to know, also companies think, I have to be on Facebook, I have to be on YouTube and Instagram, because those are the biggest. It's not true. Every industry has specific needs and specific platforms to reach their audience. And these things are easier to see, to compare by an official agency, a professional digital agency, because they have the overview of the whole market, and that's why we get in, and that's why we can share our expertise, and that's why also there are getting more and more freelancers, agencies, as there is a market for that.
So at what point do you think that it's when are the trigger points when a company should say, hey, we need to outsource our social media and we need to close down the internal social media arm?
I think it's important. It's all depends on budget, of course, because a lot of startups.
So when they have enough money, that's the tipping point, or
I would even suggest to start straight away with it. Even if you don't have millions of budget, it's important. It all starts with the idea, but then you have to sell it, and that requires a business plan. That requires a strategy, and part of the business plan is a good marketing plan. And that good marketing plan, as I said, a lot of companies, the CEO will start posting themselves, and if you are from the start already, losing it, and you have to focus on these things.
I know that it's becoming much more popular now in the entrepreneurship world, is for companies to view shared services as an external, like finance and HR and things like that. They're from the outset, they're externalizing those functions.
Exactly, and that's takes away also a little bit that pressure, because it's the responsibility, they can give a little bit out of the responsibility. Plus, at the end, as we're talking about budget, it doesn't have to be more expensive. It can be cheaper. If you have an agency doing this, your accountancy, if you don't have everything in-house, a lot of companies are not only working not with own employees anymore, they're working with freelancers. Because that makes it cheaper. And those kind of concepts. it's also a budget thing. That
well, one of the big benefits of having outsourced shared services as a medium-sized enterprise is that you get the benefit of a big name or a big a high expertise level of like a CHRO, for example, that you would not be able to afford because you can't afford a CHRO. But if you're sharing the cost of that CHRO's salary with 25 companies, then you can take a small bit and you get the benefit of their leadership over your HR team because it's externalized in that. And I imagine the same would happen in MarTech, where rather than having to expend for a chief MarTech officer, you can have the benefit of sharing the cost of that chief MarTech officer with 25 other companies, and your team as an externalized, like in your company, they would be led by somebody who's like you, but they can't afford you.
Exactly, and another advantage is because I know your business guidance employees. If you have an employee doing it, you're not only have to worry about the work, but also about the employee. You have this contract, but also it's a CEO is also a people manager, right? It's very important.
Definitely.
And these things, this managing of your employees, executing the social media marketing, that's gone because you don't have to worry about that because it's the company you work with, Larius or me, that is doing everything. We're executing, and you don't have to worry about
Okay, but the big problem becomes privacy, right? Because if you are externalizing that process, like you would be in MarTech, then the big challenge is, okay, well, these messages, these images, all of this is ours. Right? And there's privacy on the front side, which is I don't want to say anything that I shouldn't say. And then there's privacy on the backside. I don't want things that I've said to come back and bite me, and I don't want my materials to be available to everybody else. So how do you, like, in terms of privacy and security, what are the big voices or turning points for you?
That's a very important topic you touch here because privacy in general it's getting more and more of an issue worldwide. And if you work with the company, for sure you have to sign agreements and NDAs and everything. There's a lot of trust involved, but on the other hand, you have to make sure sign everything, your website, all these things, your data has to be protected, has to be safe. And that's the thing if you do it externally. If you give your data externally, you have to sign contracts and you have to sign deals, agreements, where you say that, your data is safe with us and will not go to your competitor. Yes. That's in general, social media especially, a big issue, privacy. As for example, paid advertisements. Which is a huge thing for companies. Because it's not only organic, but social media is also advertisement, right? You create campaigns to get leads, to gain more traffic to your website.
I do it too. I create campaigns.
You do it yourself?
Yeah, of course.
Exactly. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, because I'm a solopreneur, right? So army of one.
Well, exactly, and that's the thing, A lot of CEOs doing that themselves.
It's true.
But not only social media management is a marketing on itself, but then you have the paid advertisements to start with on Facebook ads. That's also a job. And as a CEO, you're going to combine both posting your pictures, doing your Facebook ads. These things. That's why you need
you need help. I'm just kidding. I'm not an army of one. I have like a whole team of partners that I work with in order to drive my brand because I don't like myself enough to drive my brand. I know who I really am, I have to look at myself in the mirror every day. But that brings up another interesting topic, right? Like privacy is one concern, but privacy's younger and arguably much stronger brother is transparency. Right? And transparency is being driven by the connectivity and the media that we have, whether CEOs like it or not. And that things that they don't want to become transparent are becoming transparent. And it seems like there's nothing we can do to stop that tide.
That's maybe the biggest challenge these days, and it will only get bigger because social media, as we know it now, it's a very recent thing, and the world was not prepared, was not ready for that.
That's right.
And now before we decided ourselves what to watch, what to put online. But now, we are online the day we're born, the day we're born. And that's why, laws, regulations, they were not there regarding social media. So everyone just do their thing. And when everyone is doing their thing, that creates chaos. And that's why now we feel, oh shit, but I'm posting everything, and yeah, I'm giving my privacy away. And okay, I will just delete. I know it's too late because it's already there.
Yeah,
it will never be removed anymore.
That's right.
So these things.
Well, you know what they say, right? What happens in Vegas stays on Instagram forever.
Exactly. That's the thing. So also as a company, if you have your brand, it's very important to first of all be transparent, but secondly, yeah, the data you have to be very careful with it, because as you can reach all people, you have also access to the data of all the people in the world. But not all those people appreciate that.
That's right.
And that's one of the biggest challenges. You have data, you can collect a lot of data.
Yeah, for sure.
Which, because now there are coming regulations and laws, which become more difficult to collect all the data. But you have all the data, and not everyone is happy with that. So yeah, you send out, for example, an email to some people we are not appreciating, and then these things,
That's right. So how important then do you think data is now in identifying buyer personas and moving markets and opening up new markets? Well, how much of that is now data-driven rather than story-driven?
It's of massive importance. I think I still believe in the organic way, and the story is very important. You need to have a story. That's the start of everything. But the data, we have access to so many data, that helps a lot. That's of massive importance, because you can have the story, as I said in the beginning, but you have to let the story reach your audience. And that you can do with the help of data, because with the help of data, you know who your customers are, and you know how to target and to reach them with your story. So it's the story stays always the most important thing. And then you need to have a bit of luck and everything, but the data is maybe the most important thing how to
so if you use your data to target your market and you get your personas right, and you have all that MarTech science going on, you still need to tell the story.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so then the next question is, how important is it that you're telling your story over somebody else? Because a lot of companies that I've been working with now are struggling with, hey, how much do we invest in influencers?
Yes.
And that seems to be a massive. It's a line item now. In the marketing budget, influencers, and that wasn't there 10 years ago.
Influencer marketing, it's huge, and it's becoming more huge, especially in 2020. I expect a lot from that. It's a challenge, because it's also something, by the way, we recently implemented in the services of Largus, influencer marketing. Because again,
so how does it work? Do you have like a roster of people?
Well, we have a database of influencers. No, it's true.
For real.
Because I talk to a lot of influencers, and there is also the issue like, okay, we have companies and they want us to make a story or a TikTok about their brand, and we did it, but they don't pay because there is no contract.
How do you do that? Is that through like talent agencies, or where are they listed? Is there a platform? Are influencers listed somewhere?
There are currently booming agencies that's only doing that. Agencies for influencer marketing. You just go to their website
and you just Google.
You have the database and you pay, and they post.
And then the best practice would be to match your typical buyer persona against your influencer,
and that
drives the sale. Right.
That's what we recently implemented with Largus. So you can check all database from our influencers. You can check on industry, sports, real estate, all this fashion, all these things. And then you can see the price per post, obviously, because you even have tools online where you can calculate your own price per post you can rate. And in that way, and we are a little bit in between the influencer and the company, because the influencer is telling me, they don't pay. I did the post, but they don't pay. So we are there in between. And for companies also, because companies, again, they think, just pay an influencer, they post, but it doesn't work like that, because you have to contact with the right influencer, because every influencer is a company on itself, and they have also their own audience. So you have to connect with the right influencer. And then it's important, because influencer marketing is shifting a little bit from just posting to professional, and people don't trust it anymore,
It's like that'd be my concern too, is in the race for authenticity, it comes off as really fake. Because you've used an influencer. And that can actually damage your brand at your expense. Both on the front end and on the back end.
And that's a big challenge, because there are a lot of benefits from social media. We all know that, but if we don't do it good, we get the backlash from that, indeed. And influencer marketing, it's a tricky one, because people are starting to understand there are a lot of fake things, like fake news also. When influencers post something, sometimes it's too obvious.
Right.
They are just creating an advert, and that's not what we want to have. That's
no,
not
because
what
that'll
the
actually
company wants
chase
to have.
away your audience.
Exactly.
Because if you're doing the marketing properly, you're presenting this inauthentic message directly to the people that need your product or service.
Exactly.
And that's going to turn them off.
Exactly. You have to be natural.
It's such an art.
It's true. It's an art in itself. Very important is to know you have to be personal.
Yeah.
You have to be authentic.
Yeah.
And you have to keep it natural. That's why also the best ads are not with in high definition 4K, shoot it with all this. No, keep it natural. It has to be natural, because that audience of the influencer will also know, okay, this is natural, or this is just an ad. And if it's just an ad, if they are feeling this is just an ad, you will have the opposite effect.
So would you say that marketing officers, CMOs, or marketing professionals should be interviewing influencers before using them? And how?
Yes, they should. Yeah, and that is also the thing why we implemented that in Largus.
Yeah.
Because we are the one in between.
Right.
And we know the influencers, and we know the company, and we know the needs of the company, so we can connect them.
I imagine now, with the amount of influence that influencers have over your product or service in your direct market, it's targeted, right?
Yeah.
Now this is starting to become clear to me. That we should be interviewing our influencers with at least the same rigor as we would interview a CFO. Because the kind of delivery that the kinds of decisions that a CFO can make and not make, it could be $100 million at a time, right? So you spend time making sure. And I think we should take the same amount of energy and rigor and put that into the interviewing of our influencers, because they can make or break $100 million at a time. Right?
Social media in general,
If it's on, right? If you get the right influencer with the right product, service, and the right, I've seen it. So it's amazing, and it's like gold. And boom, it's a $100 million decision. The ROI is clear, okay? But exactly on the same page is you can get a mediocre influencer or somebody who's not quite bought in, and their micro expressions betray the fact that they're just not that into your product, and they're doing it for the money, and they're a half-second delayed on what they say. And that's it.
That's a challenge.
$100 million gone.
Yes.
Right?
Of course,
so I think, do you have, like, what is your process when you're working with an influencer, pitching that influencer to one of your clients? How do you make sure that you have that kind of rigor and energy, a kind of like CFO hiring level of recruitment strategy?
Well, first of all, it's important that all the influencers we work with, I interviewed myself personally.
Okay, good.
I don't just contact on Instagram and say, okay, I have a deal here for you. No, I meet them in person. Because otherwise, it makes no sense. I have to feel the connection with them. I have to trust them. That's the first start. I'm
not big enough to be one of your influencers, but I appreciate. I'm just kidding.
No, you can be. No, so that's the first step. I have to feel connected. I have to trust them. I have to know what their value can be added. Then, on the other hand, I have the same process with the company. I have to know the company, and then I have to connect the two. So I have to know that the needs of the company, the audience of the company is connected, is the same as the influencers audience. Otherwise, they can make a post to 10 million people, but if it's a completely different audience, they will not reach anyone. They will not get the benefit. And then, of course, I bring also together the company with the influencer, and it's always a personal chat we have, and afterwards we take it online.
Okay, so now I'm gonna switch that conversation a little bit. We're gonna back it up from the influencer to the marketing team itself.
Okay.
How does a marketing professional remain passionate about marketing a product or service that they themselves don't like?
Oh,
because I know you will have taken this on. I know you will have taken this on, and this is a huge secret for marketing professionals out there.
Repeat your question, please.
How can a marketing professional remain passionate about their work when they're marketing a product or a service that they're not passionate about?
Well, I will be honest with you. Sometimes it's challenging. It's tough. But I think the most important thing is that even if you're not in that industry, even your own world is completely different, still the process is the same. Still, it's about an idea, product, or a service, that's a story that needs to be told to a target audience. And the challenge is the same. And that is my work. My work is not to create the idea, to execute, to make the t-shirt as if that is a product. My work is to get that t-shirt, convert through social media to a buyer. And that concept is always the same thing, and that's the challenge. I love to take it up for companies.
That's the Moneyball approach, right? You can become really passionate about the science of the sport without being really passionate about the sport.
Exactly. And the thing about digital marketing in general, not only social media, but it's evolving almost daily.
Yeah, it's true.
New tools, new platforms, and even the existing platforms. Facebook is a good example.
Yeah.
They're changing everything, the algorithm. It changes almost on a daily basis.
Right?
So you have to keep on studying, lifelong learning. That's in online marketing, that's the most amazing thing. So even for yourself, for your own job, you just have to keep fresh, and that triggers every day again, because it's evolving every day, and that's the thing. That's
well, then let me ask you a personal question about you and you staying fresh in your job. What is it on a day-to-day basis that gives you the biggest sense of meaningfulness in your work?
Okay. Well, I think wait, let me rephrase. Let me think about it.
What makes your work meaningful to you?
I think, like every other business, satisfied and happy clients. You know, if you create something, if you can grow a business, and you're just one little stone, one little part of the puzzle that created that growth. Then the satisfying of the client, that makes your day. You know?
Amazing. Thank you so much for being with me
Thank
today,
you so much,
Christophe. It was an amazing conversation, so fun. I hope all of you in marketing are paying attention, all of you influencers, all of you social media gurus out there are paying attention. Connect with this guy on LinkedIn and learn some stuff from him, because I'm sure he's posting amazing stuff all the time.
For sure.
Thank you so much for being with me, and I hope wherever you are, your day is meaningful. Do you feel disconnected at work? Are you feeling exhausted? Almost like you hate your job and secretly maybe your boss too? This is Business is Personal, a blueprint to discovering and creating meaning at work in collaboration with Smashy TV, a live streaming service in the Middle East for the driven, the dreamers, and the doers.